Okay.
Dennis Pettit says, at Bronca, Colion Noir put up a Lyft driver shot 2 carjackers. He didn't shoot until the jacker was in his car. Legit shoot. Are you familiar with this case?
I'm not, no. But this is one of those, so defense of self is pretty standard across the country, and defense of persons. So defense of self, defense of others. Defense of property gets more varied. In many states, they treat an occupied motor vehicle just like they would treat your castle. So
they do that in Colorado, right?
Yeah, that's right. And so it depends on how you define the scope of highly defensible property. That always includes your home, may include business, may include occupied motor vehicle. Unoccupied motor vehicle is just personal property, folks. But if it's occupied, they may treat it like your castle. And then if there's a forcible, unlawful entry into your car, it's just like if it was into your home. And there's a legal presumption that you had a reasonable fear of imminent deadly force harm. And that's a pretty hard self-defense scenario to screw up. Now, when I say that, it doesn't mean you won't be prosecuted. I mean, you could be put to the test of having to make that argument in front of a jury and spend a couple $100,000 and have a greater than zero risk of being convicted anyway, despite being in the legal right. Innocent people go to prison. But normally that's about as sound a use of force justification as you can have, is the use of force in defense of highly defensible property. So if in that jurisdiction the car falls into that category, and they're in the car, I mean, frankly, you could make the argument even before they're in the car. They're obviously attempting to breach the car, but definitely if they're in the car, I don't see how you would screw that up. I would caveat by saying, as always, if you have the option not to shoot people, then you ought to take advantage of that option. But if you don't, defense of highly defensible property is about as secure a position, legally speaking, as you can be in.
Right. And in case people misunderstand what you're saying, because I think people miss the distinction here. When you're saying if you have the opportunity to not shoot, you should probably take that opportunity. That doesn't mean you have a legal duty to retreat or to not shoot in that particular circumstance. It means that that's the better option for you to make sure that you don't get prosecuted for killing someone, right? If you have the opportunity to get away and you take advantage of that opportunity, the ideal scenario is you don't die and you don't have to defend yourself in court subsequently to that.
Yeah, and I should caveat that. It's always implicit in my mind, but I mean consistent with safety. So don't increase your jeopardy to do this. So don't risk death or the death of somebody you have a duty to protect to do this. But if you can avoid the use of force consistent with safety, that's generally going to be the smarter decision. I saw someone ask where they can get a mug. You can get a mug at lawselfdefense.com/mug, folks. So always be grifting, right? So
always be grifting. ABG.
Made in the USA. I would show you the stamp on the bottom, and then I'd pour my coffee all over myself.
Alec Baldwin would agree. Always be grifting. Always.
Oh my God, that guy! I just saw another video of his.
He just keeps putting stuff out. It's like, dude, you need to shut your mouth. You need to stop talking.
It's unbelievable.
I can't stop talking.
Imagine having him as a client. I mean, you'd have to quit. Well, I guess if he's paying enough money, maybe you don't quit. But
at least you'd be
for sure.
You'd probably be getting paid.
Yeah.
That's the good news. He seems to be a man of means, you would assume, and would have the ability to pay you a very large upfront retainer. And every time he did another news conference, you would increase the retainer. Like, look, I'm going to need you to go ahead and drop another 30 grand in that coffer, please, to cover for this one.
Just build that into the retainer agreement, right? Every consultation on another media presence. That's another $50K, my friend. Do them if you want.
There's also going to be an additional $10,000 in non-recoverable liquidated damages for my therapy bills after every single appearance that you make.